Yes. Ryden, is it going okay? Okay. You know, right. I know I said that, but I didn't look familiar at all when you met me. I mean, I held you when you're like maybe a week old. Came into Carol's room. I held you. I hate holding floppy kids. You know, the heads all over the place. Hate it. Stressed me out. I was like, okay, I'm done. Here. He's cute. Yeah. Okay. Here's the deal. This is what I've got going on. We are looking at FoilUnfoil. This is review. I know, this is review. And what I need you to realize is I will do wholesale reviews like this on a day where it's important for the remainder of a chapter. And in sections 7.3, 7.4, and 7.5, we use these pretty extensively. Okay, we will use FOIL. We will use solving. We will use zero product rule. We will use quadratic formula. Okay, it's all review material. That's why you go through Expo. Okay, but you got to keep in mind, just because you went through it and you were taught it and you knew it then, that does not necessarily mean you know it now. I hope it does. But let's just see where we're at. And if you got questions, now's the time to ask them. Okay, so first thing, it's FoilUnfoil. So just to remind you, FOIL, F, means that I'm taking the first, x and x, and multiplying them together. I get x squared. The outsides, O, x times 1, just x. The insides, I, 3x. The last, 3 times 1, 3. Add them all together because they're all positive. Okay? Now, keep in mind, this is x squared plus 4x plus 3 as an answer. As a student, when you did them, you started out probably with distributive property, and you started combining like terms and say, hey, you know, there's a shortcut. And FOIL as a shortcut isn't the way I just did it. Okay, FOIL is a shortcut. You use a mnemonic device to do it quicker in your head. Okay, now, how much quicker? I'll do 3. Should be x squared minus 7x minus 18. And people are like, what? X times x is x squared. Negative 9 times x is negative 9x. X times 2 is 2x. 2 plus negative 9 is negative 7. Negative 9 times 2, positive, is negative 18. Now, that's the benefit of FOIL. I kind of keep the outside and inside up there in the air and then add them together and stab them right on the page, right? But it doesn't make sense unless you know what you're doing with the outside and the inside and the first and the last. So let's do it again. So the first thing is that I've got my first. I've got 6x squared. So that's my first. Maybe perhaps we should do it in a color coordinated effort. That's my first. My outsides for the O, and I'm really just losing it with this. My outsides is 2x and 5, where I get in 10x. My insides, 18x. My last, 30. So I got 6x squared plus 28x plus 30. Okay, it's all about reviewing FOIL. Is it going okay? It's not so bad. Your turn, do 4. Your turn, do 4. Okay, questions? We're doing okay? Now, you guys keep working on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It should take us the next 4 minutes. Okay? That's high expectations, I know. But make sure you stay focused on what's going on. And just like any good restaurant trivia questions, I will bring them up and see what's going on. Is it making sense, hon? Yeah. Okay, because that 11 came from -9, 9x, and -2. That's where the 11 came from. Otherwise, the outsides, the first and the last, are all by themselves. It's the outside and inside terms, the oi, that creates that middle term. The oi creates the middle term. And that's why we're trying to leave it up in the air and we put it on paper when we're done. And this is a shortcut. Remember, this is a shortcut as we go on. And this is 49 on my insides. My outside's -15. Okay, so I got plus 34x minus 35. How'd you do? Okay, now keep in mind, if I break it down, it's still 21x squared on the outside, it's still -35, but I'm talking about the fact that I got 49x and I'm subtracting off 15x. And that's where that other stuff came from. That made 34.
Doesn't matter if you do your...
Does it matter if I did my inside first and then outside second? No, I mean, I'm just adding them when I'm done. Addition is commutative, so I'm fine with that. It's just the reason that we do outside first, inside is that's how we spell FOIL. Okay, and that's it. Also keeps us kind of focused on which one we did already and which one we got to do next. So again, 20x squared, 24 minus 15 plus 9x minus 18 to finish it off. Now, if there are questions, I want to strongly encourage you to seek out enlightenment today with those questions. Get them asked because it doesn't change. This is kind of one of those, I'm putting on the brakes because I need you to be comfortable with this because I'm going to take some other properties and apply binomial multiplication to them. We're going to be foiling. We're going to solve. We're going to use zero product rule. And it's all stuff from Expo. That's why I'm stopping and we're reviewing because this shouldn't be our issue. It should be the stuff I'm presenting. Okay. Did you notice that this is the difference of two squares? Same numbers, except the difference is a minus sign and a plus sign. So my first 49x squared. My inside and outside are opposites, but they're exactly the same, so there's 0. And then -4 plus 4, -16. That should be it. Okay. The other ones, I like doing the other ones because they are still just binomials that I'm multiplying, except they're perfect square binomials. So there's that perfect square pattern that comes with that. But you got to know that this is x squared plus 8x plus 16. And everybody's like, boom, where did that 8x come from? And here it is. Remember, squared means this. And that 8x is my outside term and my inside term, which are both the same, 4x plus 4x. That's where the 8x came from. Okay, so you got to be careful. Binomial times binomial. Okay, when I have two terms, that's a binomial. I should be getting a trinomial unless it's a difference of two squares, okay? Or a quadnomial if they don't combine at all, okay? But definitely shouldn't just be square in the first, square in the second, and being done because that's a little messy, okay? So again, with that said, x squared minus 14x plus 49 is that last one. Now, here's the thing. I just went over FOIL. First, outside, inside, last. I didn't do really hard, nasty ones, okay? I just kind of was just as straightforward as possible. These are the ones we should definitely be ready for, okay? Now, part of this is unfoil, because foil, as nice as it is, you got to understand foil to unfoil a little bit, because it's the outside and the inside terms that we have to combine. Okay? So as we're looking at this, I'm looking at the unfoil. And why do I unfoil? I unfoil to find solutions. And when I'm finding solutions, I must have it equal to 0. And we talked about this. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Then you can use the quadratic formula. If you have it ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, you can find the zeros. Do you guys remember what the zeros were for the graph of these? These are all parabolas. They either look like this going up or this is going down. And for those folks at home, I'm standing in the front of the room going like this, going up, or this going down. Say that again, Ed? What? They're quadratics. Yeah, and people are like, but that's parabola? Yeah, that's it. Okay, it's a squaring function. Those are 3 ways we've talked about it. But really what it's coming down to is you are starting, I hope, to make connections with those things. But why is it that I'm setting it equal to 0? Generally, that's my y value. And if I'm looking at my y value as 0, my x value is just on the x-axis. It's where it's going to cross the x-axis. Okay, that's all I want you to do. So here, if I factor, I unfoil. So I've got to come up, first of all, this is pretty nice because x times x makes x squared. Okay, that's kind of cool. But what numbers multiply to be 3 but add to be 4? 1 and 3, aren't those nice? And here's the deal, I got 1 and 3 here. Do you see that? With the sign in front of the last value, if it's positive, that means both my outside and inside terms were either both negative or both positive. How do I determine if they're both positive or both negative? Right there. If that's plus, then they're both positive. And now I can say, and here's where 0 product rule comes in. Okay, I'm going to see how good you guys are for being problem solvers. You ready for the question? Okay. Well, I'm going to have a warm-up question. What 7-letter words, okay, contains an infinite number of letters? 7-letter word contains an infinite number of letters. Infinite. Infinite, like, we won't be able to count so many. Now, it doesn't always have to be yours. Your house could be sold and it could be somebody else's. A person drives every day except for Sundays and delivers these things into this place. Now, think about it. What 7-letter, what thing that has 7 letters has infinite number of letters in it? A mailbox or post box. Okay, so you got that? Got your thinking cap on? A mailbox, infinite number of letters. Okay, 7-letter item that contains an infinite number of letters. Now, here's the next thing. I have 2 numbers, 8 and another number. Their product is 0. What's the other number?
0.
You guys are good. Okay, now, keep in mind, 0 product rule states that 2 numbers multiplied together, if they are 0, like I have set these up to be, then one or both is 0. So we got to find out when x plus 1 is 0 and when this is 0, okay? Because they will be the places our parabola will cross the axis. So x is equal to -1, x is equal to -3. If I do this, I got -1, I got -3. I've got that. Do you remember the axis of symmetry for your parabola? Your opposite of b over 2a? People are like, oh, really? It's coming back? I'm just reminding you things that you learned in Expo. Okay? Now, keep in mind, if I take the value of -2 and plop it in here, -2 plus 1 is -1. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. What's negative 1 plus times positive 1? It's negative 1. That's my vertex, and that's my graph. I'm done. I got it graphed. I'm not expecting you to graph these, by the way. I'm just expecting you to find the places where it crosses the axis, the zeros. Okay? Now, that was just like a friendly little reminder of what these things do. Okay? Now, x plus something. Now, keep in mind, two numbers that will multiply to be 28, but when you add them, they are 11. What would they be? 4 and 7. Fantastic. Two numbers that multiply to be 28, but add to be 11. Now, for those folks who are having a little hard time with this, okay, I'm thinking about 1 and 28, 2 and 14, and 4 and 7. Those are the only ones for 28, okay? And then over here, it's just 1, so I'm just looking, well, that's 4 and 7. They're going to add to be 11. It's going to totally work, okay? Now, according to zero product rule, I don't have to have that parenthesis in there. Not sure why I did it. So, x is negative 4, and x is negative 7. It's your turn, go! Okay, find the two answers. It's your turn, get her done. How you doing? Good or bad? Okay, now here's the thing. 5 times 1 is 5. Because it's plus 5, both of them have to have the same sign. Okay? So that's where it was negative. And why negative 5 plus negative 1? Because it was negative 6 is our answer. Okay? Now, we're going to leave these last 3 for warm-up on tomorrow, because I'm going to leave 2 more on top of that, but we got about 7 more minutes, and I want you to be to your assignment so you can be getting it done. Now, getting here in 16. These two values you can totally factor. You can. You can factor these the way we've been doing it. I want to make sure you understand how to use the quadratic formula. This is a really useful tool in case the wheels of the bus are just falling off and you can't think of a factor to save your life and you're just like, I just want to get it done. Okay, so let's just get it done. According to this rule, we must have ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And we must make sure we are careful when we write down this formula. Opposite b plus or minus the square root of b squared all over, minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so when you write it in there, okay, write it out completely. Don't try to shortcut it. Students will always come up, well, Bloom, is this right? And then they like have pieces here, pieces there, and they put them all together and they're wrong. And I say, no, it's not, but I can't even find where you're supposed to get everything done. Make sure you're just putting it all together. It makes it easier to evaluate. So, what's what? A is 2, B is negative 7, C is 3, according to the rules for using our quadratic formula. Now, at this point, it's just me plugging stuff in, just like pre-calc, right? I mean, pre-algebra. When I was in pre-algebra, I just plugged stuff in and we came up with an answer. Let's get this done. So, you should be there. Pop it in and evaluate. Okay. Now, make sure you recognize opposite of b. I had b was negative 7. Opposite of negative 7, 7. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. Negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. Then I subtract 4ac. A was 2, c is 3, and that's 24. 2, 3, and 4 is 24. So 49 minus 24 is 25. What's the square root of 25? 5. So I've got to find the square root of what that difference is. So I've got that going on. Now, what's that plus or minus thing mean? Just to remind you, it's a really quick way to say, hey, we have 2 evaluations left. I've got my x value is either 7 plus 5 divided by 4, or it's 7 minus 5 divided by 4. I suppose I should say it's equal to x. So it's 12 divided by 4, which is just 3, or 2 divided by 4, which is 1/2. So these are my 2 answers. Okay, my 2 places on the x-axis, my graph will cross. Now, on the previous ones, I had you set it equal to 0 and then solve. The quadratic formula does all that work. Okay, it doesn't show you the factors, it shows you the zeros, the places it's going to cross. You can find the factors by bringing it back over and solving it to be 0. Okay, but that's where we're at. Any questions? Your turn, do 17. Now again, these are factorable. I'm just having you do the quadratic equation just to practice. Make sure you show your work. Killing me, killing me. Give it a try, guys. Just assign A, assign B, assign C. A's, yep. Just one. Just one. A is 1. You just got to make sure, remember, leading coefficient, if the coefficient's not there but the x squared is, that coefficient is just a 1. So your A is 1, your B is 9, your C is negative 400. Okay? Now, when you plug everything in, it looks pretty ugly.
Yeah.
Okay? But remember, it's kind of a friendly one to figure out if you so choose to do it this way. Now, each one that we do today, you can factor a different way. Okay? I got to ask, how many quarters are in $4? 16. Okay, great. That's how many pennies are in 400. 25 times 16 is 400. So I'm expecting to get 25 and 16 out of this. One's positive, one's negative. Okay? But keep in mind, I just couldn't think of it at the time, you know? So I'm going through with this. 81 minus 60. Ooh, no, it's not. It's plus. Oops. I got to be careful about that. I got to watch my signs, don't I? Okay? Did you see where that comes from? Because if I get a negative under that square root, that's ugly. That means I can't find a real number, and I should be able to on this. Now, my next one. People are like, what? 1681 is, the square root of 1681 is 41. Okay, 1681. Okay, so negative 9 plus 41 is 32. 32 divided by 2 is? Negative 9 plus 41 divided by 2 is 16. Negative 9 minus 41 divided by 2 is negative 25. These are my 2 values. Okay? Are you okay with getting to the end using quadratic? Yes? Yeah, it's nice that it does it for you so you don't have like, oh, I just did all this work and I have no idea why I'm wrong type sort of thing. I want to make sure you recognize that if you take that calculator in the ACT and the SAT, the proctor of the test will grab your calculator and clear everything that's existing on your calculator, period. They don't care. You can't use the calculator if you don't allow them to do so. So I would strongly recommend that although it might be on your calculator now, it won't be in the major tests of your life, so make sure we're comfortable here with that. And that's not my thing, it's not a threat, it's what they do. In proctoring the ACT or helping the proctors with it, I've actually given them the steps. I've emailed them several times that this is how you clear a TI-84 calculator, barring taking the batteries out overnight. Okay, so make sure you know how to do all the things you're supposed to, because ouch, that would be stinky. But it's really nice because now you have something, you just plug them in and you can check to make sure you know how to do the work. Okay, order of operation stuff is really kind of the biggest thing that I'm concerned about with folks here on these. Okay, now the other parts of this we're going to finish up tomorrow, and what I want you guys to do is go ahead and start this assignment, get this thing going. I had people come pretty darn close to finishing it today.
These are odd ones.
I don't think that there's a lot of real tricky ones. Okay, if the numbers are prime, that makes it nice. But when they're not so prime, try them on one side, try them on the across. But the biggest problem today hasn't been anything more than, let me show you what's up. If you're looking at problem 2, on what happened when the boarding house blew up, problem 2. If I'm looking at problem 2, and I've got 2x squared plus 5x plus 3, okay, here it is. Factor it. I got a 3, right? Look for this one in the numbers column. Do you see 2x plus 3? It is sitting, or look for it in the letters column. I don't care which one it is. It's what, oh, do you see it? It's letter I. It's in the letters column. Do you see it? Okay, now look for x plus 1, therefore, in the numbers column. Do you see that it's at 15? You okay with that? In box 15, put the letter I. That's what that means. In the bottom.
Oh.
Enable to get the key. Enable to get your key right. In the bottom, on box 15, place the letter I. And by the way, it won't always be the same because the authors of this puzzle did not tell you which one to factor first. Okay, so they could be jumbled as you go through the order. You notice how I had to hunt around to find out that that one was an I and this one was a 15. It could be the numbers was first. I could have totally been like, oh, it's totally like this, man. Okay, and then it'd been I there and 15 there. But either way, in box 15, place the letter I for your solutions. Okay, any questions? Okay, go.
Can you help me? So you got a fraction and a fraction. So 3.
What do you got there? 3x
No,
squared?
that's